Swift implementation urged following AU summit resolutions on Sudan, DRC. Abuja, Nigeria. Regional analysts are calling for the swift implementation of resolutions made at the recently concluded African Union (AU) summit in Ethiopia. The summit, which brought together leaders from over 50 countries, focused on escalating conflicts in Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, alongside concerns over US aid cuts and economic challenges facing the continent. One of the key takeaways from the 38th AU summit was the urgent need to address the worsening situation in eastern DRC. The AU called for intensified dialogue and urged the merger of the Rwanda process and the Nairobi peace process to create a unified approach to peace negotiations between the DRC government and the M23 rebels. Bankole Adeoye, AU Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace, and Security, voiced serious concerns about the escalating violence in DRC. "We are all very concerned about the risk of an open regional war over eastern DRC," Adeoye said. "We have reiterated the need for caution and called on the M23 rebels and their supporters to disarm and withdraw." The conflict in eastern DRC has resulted in more than 3,000 deaths and the capture of key cities, including Goma and Bukavu, by the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. The summit also saw African leaders condemning human rights violations stemming from the nearly two-year conflict in Sudan. However, security analyst Senator Iro Egbo stressed the need for action beyond verbal commitments. "If what's happening in DRC is not well managed, it will escalate," Iro Egbo warned. Issuing a communiqué at the end of the meeting is not enough, it should be followed up with strategic measures, mediation teams, and concrete solutions for African problems. Beyond security concerns, the AU also discussed the impact of climate change, food security, and economic reparations for colonial exploitation. Ghanaian President John Mahama underscored the need for action. "The continent lost trillions of dollars in both human and material resources due to colonial exploitation," Mahama stated. "Today, the descendants of enslaved Africans continue to face economic disparities, social inequality, and systemic discrimination. Addressing these challenges requires more than just acknowledging them, it demands action." A growing call for self-sufficiency was another key theme at the summit, particularly in light of declining US aid. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization, stressed the need for African nations to mobilize domestic resources and attract investment rather than rely on foreign aid. "Africa, we really need to change our mindsets. Access to aid should be seen as a thing of the past," Okonjo-Iweala said. "We must focus on two things: attracting investments and mobilizing our own domestic resources." As the summit concludes, all eyes are on African leaders to see how swiftly they will implement the resolutions. Delays in addressing the crises in Sudan and the DRC could result in further casualties and prolonged instability, making swift action critical. For more updates and in-depth analysis, subscribe to Ripe News and stay informed about Africa's evolving political and security landscape.